So soy, become the motor. Hey folks, and welcome to another Soy spikeboarding tutorial and demonstration. We are in SanDiego on the Coronado Island on the bike trail here, and what we did was we parked near the trailhead up by the hotel. We have a very interesting way of parking here. They parallel park right there by the side of 50-mile-an-hour traffic, and everyone cooperates, and that is astonishing. So the best drivers in the world are in California, I think, and that coming from someone that lives in New York. So congratulations, California, you get the best driver in the world award and the lowest amount of honking and the highest amount of cooperation amongst your people and commuters. And this New Yorker was very impressed. So to be able to parallel park in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, didn't quite know how that was going to happen, but it happens because there's desire. And of course that brings us to why and how people begin sports, because there's desire. So there was a desire by the Soy company, and there we are showing a little bit of cross-country ski move, double poling, very similar to the upper body movement there in spikeboarding. There was a desire in the Soy company to connect once and for all that upper body skiing motion with that lower body kicking motion. And once you do that, you have modified cross-country skiing. You've made it a little less complicated and more simple. Less complicated because you only have one ski or one board and wheels. Roller skis are just boards and wheels. And of course, if you want to use the upper body for propulsion, you're going to have to coordinate the movements in some way. So what you guys are going to see here is stand-up spike and Kubi cross. Those are the two primary strokes. What you're seeing now is drifting, and we're waiting for a light, and this traffic is pretty serious traffic around here, so you want to pay attention to all these street lights and give everybody plenty of leeway. Everyone pays attention to them in California, as well you should. And that was some drifting that was going on, and when you ever stop, go ahead and start to drift the board left and right, back and forth, find the rails from side to side. That's going to help you quite a bit in this sport that is very foot reliant. So you want to be able to begin to feel the board and all of its nuances from side to side and end to end without ever having to look at it. So my goodness, what a beautiful day here on Coronado with all the palm trees by the side and this lovely paved trail, bike trail. It's a little cool, as you can see, a little chilly. It's in the winter, the beginning, the middle of, sort of the beginning, middle of February. And you see some of these cyclists out here have a little bit of cover on them. Oh, there goes one that didn't have much on. But you guys have an amazing season here, and we just wanted to show you this video. We're not going to get into a lot of tutorial teaching, technical teaching in this video. We just wanted to show you that this bike path on Coronado is a great place to come for beginners who want to learn to spikeboard. Not total beginners, but pretty beginners. You have to make sure that you are not a threat to other people with your equipment, and you are safe for yourself as well. So if you're not, you want to go find a totally empty place, probably a nice big parking lot where there's not any traffic or anything like that, and or maybe a less populated bike trail of some kind where there aren't any people at all, and get those first 20 or 30 hours out of the way so you're comfortable with all your equipment and you're safe no matter what speed you're going. And then come on over here to Coronado, drive and park, and then you'll be able to just pull your gear out and scuttle along this path. So that's what we wanted to show you here on this video, which is going to go out about 9 minutes and then come back the same way we went out. And we do know that this path right here is the one that's used on a inline skating race that they have here in SanDiego, and this sport is very similar to inline in as much as you're worrying about human propulsion and the technical performance strokes of your technique and trying to optimize that. So you're on a skateboard, obviously, and spikeboarding is in part a skateboarding sport, and also it is a skating sport, and it is a cross-country skiing sport. So when the legs are both on the deck, so waist down, you have to carve that board, and that's all skateboarding skill. And when you're spiking from the waist up, that's all skiing skill, 100%. And when you skate is the part when you're kicking. You're going to have your nose over your knee and your knee over your toes, and you're balanced over that center line. So it's kind of all three sports, but the meditative state is that of inline skating and cross-country skiing. This athlete is not going to pit stop and suddenly do any kind of acrobatic tricks. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There isn't anything wrong with acrobat at all. It starts with gymnastics, and it's on the balance beam. It goes into figure skating, goes into parkour running, and it goes into cliff diving, and it goes into all form of radical and acrobat skateboarding. All of that is beautiful. We did not come here to change any of that. We came here to add the addition of spikeboarding, which logically incorporates the full body into the propulsion of a board and 4 wheels. Of course, the Sasoi board is optimized for switch kicking, and it's optimized for spikeboarding. You do not want to have uncovered wheels in spikeboarding. You can and will spike your wheels. You might even spike them even when they're covered. So you want to have them covered, and of course when you start to do big distances, you will begin to get pebbles that come off the wheels and up into the shoes with a good deal of regularity. And of course, down around these parts of the world, you're probably not going to have a lot of rain and snow, so the fenders won't be that helpful then. But there will be the occasion that does rain, and we spikeboard all year long. In lots of places in the Midwest and in the East Coast, the South, you could have a lot of rainy days. And we go out in them. If you don't have fenders, you're going to be wearing everything on the road all the way up slightly past the knee, and those are the reasons that you have the fenders. But the fenders are really there for safety. When you start cranking really big RPMs, you just want to put your feet down and know that you're not going to step on a wheel. From time to time you might nick a fender, but you're going to be okay. You start nicking wheels, it's not going to be a happy day. And there is SanDiego Bay, and it's a gorgeous bay. All you folks who've never been to SanDiego, you want to get down here. It is such a beautiful town, really nice city, and so many good places to spikeboard. And here is just one more that we're adding to the list so the locals can see, and even the people who want to travel and visit and bring their spikeboarding equipment down here. You can go on this circuit, and this circuit goes for about 10 miles all the way pan flat straight down, and then you can bring it all the way back, or you can actually loop it, I believe, over a bridge and get yourself over downtown San Diego. But the spikeboarding here is pan flat. It's nice, and we might even come back here and set some time records in pan flat. We haven't been doing any time trialing on pan flat circuits at all. We've been focusing on uphills because the essence of cross-country skiing, the essence of spikeboarding is uphills. And here in the local area, we have, make sure you take a peek at some of our videos. We have summited some small climbs, Soledad, which I think has 850-foot rise, and a prominence of something like close to 460 and change. And also we've probably Helix, Mount Helix. We summited Helix in stand-up spike, both of those, Soledad and Helix, both in stand-up spike, which is the stroke when the feet are on the deck. And it is the principal foundation stroke that you want to develop because it develops all of the core and the lat muscles. But we have summited those, and that's the wonderful part about this area is you've got great flat, pan flat riding, you've got nice little rollers, and you've got nice climbs. And then not too far away, you're going to have Palomar, which is nice. And of course, about 3.5 hours to your north, you're going to have Latigo Canyon Road, which we have summited as well. And regional people should begin to think about training for those kinds of summits. We've got good KOM and QOM money, so all you strong men and strong women out there who are doing obstacle course races and triathlons, big swims, all you swimmers are going to love spikeboarding, especially stand-up spike mountains. It will cross-train you very, very well. And what's really lovely about this sport is you practice just enough balance to keep everything honest. What I mean by honest is if you say to yourself, I have no balance, you're not being honest with your fitness. Because it's not, you don't have any balance. You don't have any balance that you happen to be training with. Because nobody has strength and nobody has balance and nobody has endurance. If you just sit on a couch and you practice nothing, you will have neither endurance nor strength. But most people are out there really gunning it with strength and endurance, and therefore they have strength and they have endurance. And then they'll giggle a little bit and they'll say, I have no balance. It's not that you don't have balance, it's that you don't practice balance. And that's a lovely part of the inline skate sport, and also a lovely part of hockey in regards to field sports. It's the one field sport that actually practices balance. Of course, hockey practices a very, very high degree of balance. So if you're playing hockey, you have 10 times the amount of balance skill set that you're going to need for spikeboarding. So we're, as you can see, skating and spiking in one direction. And in hockey, you are doing 360 degrees and oftentimes backwards with C-cuts with the left leg and the right leg. It's incredible amounts of balance and incredible amounts of technical skating skill set that you need. And the reason people think spikeboarding seems challenging is because they don't see a million people out spikeboarding. If you saw thousands of people every weekend spikeboarding, you wouldn't conceive of it or think of it as all that challenging at all. You just jump right in, follow the coaching manual, follow the coaching sessions, and you would learn. So you're looking at an athlete that's been spiking for about 9 years, going into the 9th year, with absolutely no coaching from anybody. And so that distance of experience is going to be able to be closed first 50%, and then we'll probably close it as soon as we figure out all the dynamics on how to coach as fast as possible. That'll close another 50%. So people will be learning and reaching expert status in spikeboarding in 2.5 years. No problem at all. Especially as soon as we begin to write the manuals and lay everything out. Now, why would you want to learn spikeboarding? Because it's right out your door, folks, and you can use it to commute with. So this athlete was an elite amateur cyclist, and of course cycling's a beautiful sport, and you want to learn cycling, and this sport, performance cycling that is, and this sport combines really well with performance cycling. It actually combines into a biathlon sport called, or duathlon sport, however you'd like to call it, called velo spiking. And that is nothing other than learning both sports incredibly well. And just like run, bike, and swim, it's a triathlon sport. Well, spikeboarding, high performance cycling mixed into velo spiking, and it is absolutely delicious. So all you people who've been on a road bike and your brain is a little cooked to the whole notion of cycling, learn spikeboarding. Take some time, dig deep, go 2.5, 3 years into spikeboarding, and you will come back to cycling and think it's the most delicious thing on earth. And not only that, you will also come back with core power and upper body, and you will come back with the added benefit of weight bearing. So weight bearing is something that your body needs, and it's actually something that cycling doesn't. Excuse that little jump cut back there. We might not have extended the video all the way through, but as you can see, we're still coming back. There was 2 segments that the GoPro separated, but you might have missed a little bit there of the Coronado, but you get the general idea of this video. It's just out and back. There's a gentleman we passed on the way out. Now we're passing him on the way back. We were speaking about learning a sport and using it as multi-sport. The comprehensiveness of cross-country skiing's never been matched. So cross-country skiing is strength, endurance, plus balance. And if you're really doing the purest form of the sport, you are on snow, and that optimizes at 20 degrees. it's actually the fastest temperature. Any slower, any colder, you're going to go slower. Any warmer, you're going to go slower. But they often race at colder temperatures, and that is just really crazy. You're racing in the middle of a flu season, and so cross-country skiing is just uniquely, divinely created to max out the body in every single way, shape, or form. And of course, on wheels, roller skiing, it's also an incredible challenge. So you may not have cold, you might be doing it in the warmer months, but now you have navigation, and the navigation on roller skis is tough, folks. It's really, really tough. But again, the sport, the kinetics, the kinesiology of moving in conjunction, the upper body with the lower body, it's never ever been anything else devised. And what you're really looking at is a simple way of cross-country skiing. It's really simplified. There's no boards to cross, there's no skis to cross, and there's no bindings, and the boots are not bearing into your ankle bones, and you've just got one shaft with no straps. It's very casual, very, very casual, and it leads straight to roller skiing. So if you ever wanted to become serious cross-country skier, you're gonna want to roller ski. If not 5 or 6 weeks just before the snow arrives, you're going to want to do it all season long and learn how to do it. And it's a terrific way to climb, whether you're skate skiing or whether you're classic skiing. There's nothing like climbing with roller skiing. It's insanely demanding, much more demanding than spikeboarding, technically speaking. Although we think that the stand-up spike stroke is probably physically the more demanding. Certainly the slower of the strokes between double pole and stand-up spike. But the reason you want to get out and become a skier, because that's really what you're going to become in spikeboarding, is a simplified American skier on a board, is that it's just so comprehensive and it's right out your door. So you have a nice suburb, you've got a nice high side, low side, you've got 35 minutes after you put some kids to bed. Go out, tap it out, wake up early, wake up an hour early, and just grab 45 minutes of skiing time, and you're going to really be happy. And of course, if you can manage to spike to work, if you're between 3 and 5 miles away, and you begin to spike it with this kind of quality technique, you'll be able to just grab a quick shower at work, or just go not so fast and maybe not sweat so much, and certain parts of the year, and you'll be able to spike to work. So we define the sport, we describe it as the sport of balanced strength. That is spikeboarding. And we define stand-up spike as core right out your door. And here we are again at one of these very serious stop signs. There's a lot of traffic left and right, and everyone's very respectful, so we just get in here and watch our backside and begin to drift and to switch. And a constant practice of switching and drifting like this really begins to get that ambi-pedal skill set activated and cooking. Of course, we have been in Manhattan quite a bit. You can imagine how many times we have to stop at a light, and every time we stop, we're engaging the switching and the drifting, and eventually you no longer need to look at the board, and you can find the rails on both sides. Go to back and front and find the rails on both sides, no problem, and keep the skateboard spike switching from side to side, keeping your spike near the front so you can keep an eye on it. And when you do this kind of drill, you want to make sure that you got nobody on your backside. So keep your eyes on the back of your head. Those of you who are roadies and know how to do that are already skilled at it, and those who aren't, just take quick peeks back and keep your ears open, and that's how you do it. You don't have to be doing a 180 completely. Just be cognizant of what's behind you when that spike tip's going back. If you're traveling forward, obviously the people behind you need to pay attention to you, but when you're stopped, you need to pay attention to who's coming up on you. Southern California spikeboarding. Check this out, man. Under palm trees and blue skies, and just tapping it out one side to the next, And we are going to have more tutorials on how to develop your ambi-pedal skill set. Ambi-pedal is the ability to control the left leg and the right leg with equal amounts of skill set. We already have some up. Dig in there. Sorry folks, our videos aren't all lined up in perfect order, but if you scuttle through them, you're going to find them. And if you have any questions, please definitely email us or call us, no problem, at the number and the email listed below this video. And we will give you videos that are going to show you what's up. And here in San Diego or any city, we want to begin to clinic. We're ramping up our production van for the following year, 2019. We're going to be doing a road show all over the country, and we'd love to come to a city where you live and get 4 to 5 people clinicking at a time, no problem, over a weekend, and that will really get you down the road very quickly. There's an inside Kubi cross, not too often done, and that's when the leg stays in between the board and the spike. There it is again, and it makes it so the legs can switch and the skateboard spike stays in the same hand. So if we had to carry something, or if we had a injury of some kind, that's a very, very handy stroke. So we're going to come down here past the car, do a sweeping U-turn, and come back in the car, jump in, and there's the inside Kubi cross again. It's a very, very weak stroke. It's not very powerful compared to the Kubi cross stroke. And the strokes are indicated by letters SUS, ICXC, and CXC. So that's inside Kubi cross, and stand-up spike with 3 strokes of spikeboarding. And our flying flags at half-mast for whoever has passed away. May they rest in peace. God bless you. Thanks for your service. If it was for service people, with so many half-mast flags this year, it's been getting us sad. Wherever we go, we see that over and over again. Which brings us to the service folks. If you're in the service, give us a call and we will help you out above and beyond whatever it is that you need. We're really dedicated to service people, whether they're in the military or EMS, police, firemen. Give us a holler. We want to help you get fit, stay strong, stay healthy in body and mind, and we know this sport can help you quite a bit. So we have a big interest in getting you guys going. And wow, I just barely made that U-turn. And that was because the conjunction between bike and board, it all kind of sort of mixes up just a little bit when you've got something right in front of you. But we did make that turn. We also peeked on who was around us, and we just come back here, pull up to our car. Like I said, you can parallel park right here, even though people are driving about 50 miles an hour. It's a 45 mile an hour zone. I saw that on the speed limit. It wasn't 50, but people are driving pretty darn fast. Back there it says 35, but they're driving faster than that around here, so it seemed. But it's amazing that people do parallel park here, and you can parallel park right here and pull out your gear, jump in, and go for a spike. This is one of the flattest places that we've been spiking here in San Diego, and also one of the nicest continuous asphalts here. There's our little rental car, Colorado plates. We just wanted to show you this part because we actually want to show you how to just pop your safety cover on. And we call the safety cover a cow cover. Toss your board in the car, and a cow means cover or watch. It's silicone. And just pop that right on, folks. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Spike hard, spike often, spike boarding, and always wear your wrist guards and your helmet. And we will see you at the next one. Really appreciate you tuning in. Hope you've learned something. San Diego, let's go spikeboarding.